What was the conclusion you drew after the bye week about the passing game?
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of areas there we need to improve. And the passing game, like we've said from the jump, takes all 11. Certainly we want to stress defenses in probably some ways that we have not yet been able to or not able to connect on. Feature the guys that we can lean on and make our quarterback feel comfortable. So, the bye weeks are always great. We needed the reset to kind of look at things, make sure that we're doing the best things for our players, best things for our quarterbacks. And
instant panic is gripping Kevin Stefanski as Browns fans explode with a unified set of demands. They want Tommy Rees to take full control of the offense and finally provide Shedeur Sanders with the coaching he actually deserves. Now that Rees has been handed the play calling duties, fans are clamoring for bold, decisive moves, chief among them being to start Shedeur. They want him given meaningful reps and the dedicated coaching he has clearly earned. But the real underlying question is, will Rees rise to this pivotal moment and grant Shedeur the chance he so obviously deserves, or will he instead choose to play it safe, cautiously siding with Stefanski to protect his own coveted spot in Cleveland? Let's find out.
Tell you, dog, we have another day and another coach at the bout, speaking about Shedeur Sanders and his offense. Now, we know the Browns' offense cannot get going in any shape, form, or fashion.
When Tommy Rees spoke about improving the Cleveland Browns passing game after the bye week, it all sounded quite promising on paper. He used words like reset, good plan moving forward, and making the quarterback feel comfortable. But here is the critical thing. If that plan does not include giving Shedeur Sanders the real legitimate chance he so clearly deserves, then what is the actual point? The entire discussion about doing the best things for our quarterbacks starts to sound profoundly hollow if Shedeur continues to be left languishing on the sidelines. Fans have seen the tantalizing flashes of what he can do, and everyone knows that his unique skill set brings a much-needed fresh energy to the offense. So when Rees says they needed a reset, many are left to wonder, was that reset about building something genuinely new, or was it just about repolishing the same old tired system that has been holding this team back? It is also worth asking what precisely Rees and Stefanski mean by making our quarterback feel comfortable, because if the ultimate goal is to truly strengthen the passing game, then comfort should not be derived from playing it safe. It should come from placing trust in the right talent. Shedeur's uncanny ability to extend plays, to read defenses with remarkable speed, and to throw with precision under immense pressure is exactly what this anemic offense has been so desperately missing. Yet he has barely been given the chance to prove it. Rees might have spent the bye week diligently reviewing plays and strategies, but did he spend enough time contemplating how to build an offense around a quarterback like Shedeur, who actually fits the modern aggressive style that the fans are clamoring to see? That is the question that the fans keep asking, and it is a perfectly fair one. Now that Rees has officially taken over the play calling duties, the expectations are justifiably sky high, not just to improve the raw numbers, but to make real, visible, and tangible changes. This is not about simply replacing one name with another on a coaching roster. It is about fundamentally changing the entire mindset of the offense. Browns fans want to see creativity, they want to see calculated risk-taking, and above all, they want to see fairness. If Rees truly believes in doing the best things for our players, then Shedeur Sanders should be front and center in that plan, because every single week that passes without giving Shedeur the reps he has so clearly earned feels like a completely wasted opportunity, and the fans are growing increasingly tired of waiting. Everyone keeps saying the same thing. The offense just cannot get going, no matter what they try. It has been an absolute nightmare on the field, characterized by slow starts, missed throws, and a complete lack of real game sense. And now, with Tommy Rees stepping in, the talk sounds remarkably similar to what we have heard before, but the fans are not buying the talk anymore. They want to see something real, because at this point, the offense does not just need minor tweaks, it needs a spark, and that spark has to come from someone new, someone hungry, someone who can actually move the ball downfield, and that someone is Shedeur. All this talk about plans and resets means absolutely nothing if the same guys keep running the same plays that are demonstrably not working. When you watch what is happening, it is hard not to question how long this can possibly continue. Everyone can see Shedeur standing there on the sidelines, waiting ready, while the offense continues to fall apart. The fans are shouting for him. The commentators receivers are mentioning him, and yet somehow, the Browns still act as if giving him a real shot is too risky. But what is truly riskier, sticking with what is so clearly broken, or trusting a quarterback who might actually bring a semblance of hope back to this team? The frustration is growing because people know what Shedeur can do. They have seen his talent, his calm under pressure, and his accuracy. And now, with the season rapidly slipping away, all the talk from Rees and Stefanski means only one thing. It is time to stop talking and finally let Shedeur play.
Learning your own quarterback. Fortunate for me, I've been able to be here, sit with Dylan, be with the offense. I know kind of what helps him, what makes him click. I think, got a good feel for our personnel here. That's so important when it comes to calling games. And then, you get into a rhythm throughout the game of figuring out what from the plan works, what you need to adjust, what they're doing to try to take some things away. And then you're just looking to build counters and things that can complement what you've already tried to set up. But I think every time you call a game, you learn. Every time even for me in the role I've been in, you learn as you're putting yourself in the shoes to call a game again, as you're listening and observing and helping.
Listening to Tommy Rees talk about how he is fortunate to sit with Dylan and how he is learning what makes him click, you simply cannot help but feel the profound sense of disappointment. Once again, it sounds like the same tired routine, playing it safe, protecting the starter, and keeping the same system alive, no matter how much it consistently fails. Instead of using this critical opportunity to inject some much-needed fresh energy, Tommy's words make it abundantly clear that he is locking himself into the very same comfort zone that Stefanski so painstakingly built. Fans had desperately hoped that once Rees was given the play-calling duties, we would finally see something different, a bold move, a real shakeup. But after hearing him talk about getting a rhythm with Dylan, it feels as though those hopes are rapidly slipping away. It is as if Shedeur's name has been completely erased from every single conversation that takes place inside that building. The Browns' offense is still stuck, still slow, and still painfully predictable, and yet Tommy is talking about learning and adjusting. Learning what? Exactly. Learning how to keep a system that has already demonstrably failed running for just a bit longer. Because from the outside, it looks as though the only thing this team refuses to learn is how to let Shedeur actually play. It is genuinely painful to watch a quarterback with real talent and an undeniable drive sit out while others are given endless chances to figure things out. Stefanski's shadow still looms large. His fingerprints are all over these excessively cautious choices. And now, Rees seems to be more focused on blending in than on standing out. If this is the new direction for the Browns offense, then let's be completely honest. It is not new at all. It is just another repeat of the same old story, and the fans are getting incredibly tired of the rerun. So, you have to wonder what is really happening behind the scenes. Does Tommy honestly think that speaking up for Shedeur would cost him his job? Is he afraid that showing any support for the kid might make Stefanski look bad? Who is really pulling the strings here? Is it Stefanski jealously protecting his authority, or is it the front office stubbornly refusing to shake up the established status quo? Why is it that everyone who walks through that door suddenly seems to forget about Shedeur once they get a taste of the power structure in Cleveland? And most importantly, when did doing the right thing for the team become more dangerous than doing the safe thing for yourself?
New England game, you mentioned that you got to make Gabriel comfortable.
Yep.
And then he went out and did what he did. He only threw 8 balls to receivers.
Yeah.
How do you make them comfortable?
Yeah, we got to put the receivers in the right spots. We got to ask them to do the right things. We got to make sure that we're giving them the looks during the week. Certainly they did some things there to take some looks away, but getting him to progress and feel confident in those things. And again, it's all that work is done throughout the week. And then when a team's doing something that's going to take it away, you got to have counters and answers for that.
Hearing Tommy Rees talk about the Patriots game just serves to confirm what everyone already witnessed with their own eyes. This offense has no real identity, and that fundamental issue starts with the quarterback. Rees says he needs to make Gabriel comfortable, but how much more comfortable can you possibly make a guy who only threw a grand total of 8 passes to his wide receivers during the entire game? That is not comfort. That is hiding. When your offense is palpably scared to throw the football, that is not a coaching plan. The Browns went into that game looking like a team completely devoid of direction. There was no rhythm, no trust, and absolutely no confidence. And the results starkly reflected that reality. You simply cannot expect your receivers to produce when they are not being utilized. And you cannot expect to win when your quarterback plays as if he is afraid to take a single shot downfield. The Patriots did not even have to do anything particularly special. They just exposed how fundamentally weak and uncertain this offense truly is. What is worse is that Tommy keeps talking about putting receivers in the right spots and giving them the right looks, but absolutely none of that matters if the quarterback is not capable of taking advantage of those plays. The truth is, this was not just a bad game, it was a full-on breakdown between the quarterback and the system. Dylan looked completely lost. The play calling was hesitant and timid, and once again, Shedeur sat there on the sidelines, watching a complete mess unfold that he very likely could have fixed. If Rees and Stefanski honestly think that is how you build confidence, then they are building it in all the wrong places. The offense did not fail because of the opposing defense or a string of bad luck. It failed because of poor leadership, scared play calling, and a stubborn refusal to put the right player under center. The Patriots did not beat the Browns beat themselves.
I came to Cleveland to work for Kevin. That's really the reason I took this job 2 years ago. Like, think the world of him, still think the world of him. Really, like, fortunate for the support he's given me over the last week, the support he's had for me over the last couple of years. Like, I wanted to come to Cleveland to work for Kevin. I think the timing of it, you have a bye week, you have some time to step away and look at things through a different perspective and want to create a spark for the offense. And, again, like, how I feel is whatever they want me to do, whatever's asking me to help us win games, that's what I want to do at the highest level. So, again, working really collaboratively with Kev and really appreciate, that part of it. So it's his decision and,
Tommy's candid admission that he came to Cleveland to work for Kevin just serves to prove what most fans had already suspected. This entire coaching setup is built on a foundation of loyalty, not on results. Rees did not come here to win games or to develop talent. He came here to please Stefanski. That single line alone explains why the Browns' offense continues to sink week after agonizing week. When your primary objective is to make your boss happy instead of making your team better, you have already lost. Stefanski's system has been stuck in neutral for far too long, and instead of bringing in someone bold enough to actually challenge it, they brought in another compliant voice who is just here to nod and agree. Tommy sounds more like a spokesperson for Stefanski than an innovative offensive mind who is ready to take charge, and that is precisely the problem. No one in this entire coaching room is willing to stand up and say, hey, this isn't working. They are all too busy protecting each other while the team crumbles right in front of them. What makes this entire situation even more frustrating is how casually Rees talks about creating a spark and doing whatever's asked of him. The fans do not want another fleeting spark. They are demanding real, tangible change. But how can there possibly be any spark when Rees himself admits that he is just following orders? The Browns are not losing because of bad luck. They are losing because of this very mindset. Stefanski has meticulously built a system where nobody dares to challenge him, and Tommy is the living proof of that. Instead of fighting for Shedeur Sanders, instead of emphatically stating that this offense needs a real leader under center, he is out here publicly thanking Kevin for the opportunity. An opportunity for what? To keep losing in the exact same way every single week. Stefanski's suffocating control has turned this offense into a one-way street, and Tommy's own words make it abundantly clear that he is driving right behind him.
What's asked of you?
Yeah, I think we're fortunate to have a really good staff that you can collaborate with, lean on. Obviously, Kevin this week's been great. The rest of the staff's been great, Bloom and CO and some of the guys that you lean on throughout the week. Your job changes a little bit, right? Like you're having final stamp power on the game plan and where you see things falling and what's going to make it to Sunday. So that certainly changes, but the collaborative nature of it does not. Ultimately, you're making the final decision, which, like I said, changes things a bit, but process goes on as normal.
Tommy's commentary on how fortunate he is to have a good staff and how everyone's been great, especially Stefanski, just sounds like another safe rehearsed answer designed to keep the peace. He mentions collaboration, leaning on people, and having final stamp power. But what does any of that even mean if the offense still looks flat and predictable every single Sunday? What exactly are they collaborating on? Another game plan that keeps Shedeur on the bench. Another week of protecting the same quarterback who cannot move the ball. If Tommy really has the final say, then why does it still feel like Stefanski's fingerprints are all over every single call? Why is he talking like an assistant when he is supposed to be the play caller? And most importantly, when will someone in this great staff actually take responsibility for fixing the mess on the field instead of just praising each other in interviews? Anyways, as the pressure continues to build in Cleveland, all eyes are on Tommy. Will he finally take a stand and let Shedeur Sanders lead this offense, or will he stay comfortably in Stefanski's shadow and play it safe? If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates on the Browns drama. What do you think? Will Tommy actually step up for Shedeur, or is he too afraid to make that move?